Amateur photographers are usually confined to use their cameras on automatic mode due to a lack of understanding of how their camera actually works. So today I'm going to teach you how to successfully use your camera on manual mode. First, I'm going to tell you what you'll need. Second, I'm going to introduce you to the terms and mechanics of your camera. And third, I'm going to show you how to use that knowledge successfully. So let's delve into what's needed. This information is going to work best for what's called a DSLR, which is most common. That's just any digital camera that will allow you to set your own settings. The second thing that you may want that is not necessary but it helps a lot is a tripod. The one thing that is mandatory that you will need is an ideal image or some kind of idea in your head of what you want your image to look like, because you can't go about creating your image without knowing what you want to happen. So now let's go ahead and learn the terms and mechanics of your camera. The first thing you're going to need to know, and this is a lot less scary than the one on your handout because I wanted you to have the notes just in case I'm not there to help you take the picture. So this is called the exposure triangle. And now on each corner of this triangle is a mechanism in your camera that will control the quality or quantity of light that actually creates the image. So, of course, the perfect image comes from balancing these three things. So at the top we have ISO, and the ISO refers to the sensitivity of the plate that actually captures the camera, the sensor right here. So ISO, I'm going to be completely honest with you, it can be really elusive and confusing. The easiest way to put it is that low ISOs, like the 100 that I have listed on your handout, those are usually applied for outdoor photographs. Indoor photographs can benefit a lot from higher ISOs, but they also cause a graininess, which we call noise. So you want to avoid that. My suggestion to all of you would be to set it at about 400, just until you can learn the other aspects of your camera. One of those aspects is next on our exposure triangle. It's called the aperture. The aperture, let's go back for a minute. The aperture is a hole located within the lens right here, and you're going to be able to contract and expand that hole to control how much light is let in. So rather than just controlling how much light, it also controls a more artistic aspect that we call depth of field. So that hole is measured in what are called f-stops, and I have them listed there on your handout. A large aperture, which is a large hole, is about f2, and that'll give you selective focus, which you can't really see here too well. I wish this would have came up on the computer. But if you want selective focus, so you want one thing to be in focus and the rest of it to fall out of focus, you're going to use a large aperture such like f2. If you want everything to be in focus, you're going to use a small aperture. Think of your eyes. If you squint, you're closing down that aperture in your eye, and everything comes into focus. That'll be much like an f22 aperture. So the last thing on the exposure triangle is the one you're probably most familiar with, which is the shutter speed. The shutter stands in front of, it's right here, stands in front of the sensor, and it opens and closes to determine how long the light is allowed to hit the sensor. So this controls something more artistic than that. It controls the ability to stop and blur motion. So if you want to blur motion, much like this one, you can see the water is very soft and blurred. It's not out of focus, but